Afternoon and welcome to the news from around the world on T Solid Radio. I am Joy Akin Olamiguki. First, the major headlines. Buhari reappoints Oloyede as JAMB registrar. And on the foreign scene, China passes tough new online privacy law. Philippines reports record virus infections as lockdown eased. And on the world of sports, Spaniard ends 2021 season because of foot injury. Moving on to the news and details. President Muhammadu Buhari has reappointed Ishaq Oloyede as Registrar and Chief Executive of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board for a second time of 5 years. Others reappointed by the president include Professor Abubakar Rashid, who will serve as Executive Secretary of the National University Commission for another 5 years, Amin Boboyi, who will serve as Executive Secretary of the Universal Basic Education Commission for a second term of 4 years, Professor Ifoma Isiogu Abanihe, as Registrar and CEO of the National Business and Technical Examinations Board for a second term of 4 years, and Professor Promise Mebin as the Director Chief Executive of the National Mathematical Center for an initial tenure of 5 years. A statement issued today by the Director of Press and Public Affairs, Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Hamgong, revealed that the appointment recommended by the Minister of Education, Adamu. The statement read, President Muhammadu Buhari has, upon the recommendation of Education Minister Adamu, approved the reappointment of the Registrar of the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAM, Professor Ishaq Olariwaju Oloyede, and the Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Professor Abubakar Adamu Rashid. The two appointments are for a tenure of 5 years each, with effect from 1st of August 2021. Lagos State government, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization (FAO), has begun the rehabilitation of its coconut belt with a view to ensuring the sustainable production of coconut seedlings for the cultivation of no fewer than 10 million coconut trees in 2014. The State Commissioner for Agriculture, Ms. Abisola Olusoya, who disclosed this in Lagos, explained that the collaboration would also ensure the rehabilitation of coconut groves and the creation of over 500,000 job opportunities and wealth through training, capacity building, and empowerment of youth and women in the state in the coconut value chain. According to her, coconut is one of the major cash crops in Lagos State, with the state producing over 80% of the country's annual production of 285,200 metric tons. The efforts of the state in this regard has earned 19 spots on the world's coconut producing country. The commissioner added that it would also guarantee the development of quality, reliable, sustainable, and resilient infrastructure, including regional and trans-border infrastructure, to support economic development and human well-being through the coconut industry. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission (RMAFC) has promised to offer a new and people-oriented revenue sharing formula for the nation in the shortest possible time. The commission made a pledge in Benin City, where it paid a scheduled visit to the state governor, Godwin Obaseki, as part of his sensitization program across the 36 states. It solicited necessary and positive contribution through interactive sessions and submissions of memoranda. The commission, represented by Federal Commissioner Mr. Victor Eboigwe, noted that the sensitization program is part of the commission's mandate as stipulated in relevant sections of the 1999 Constitution to review the country's revenue sharing formula to meet the yearnings of both the three tiers of government and the generality of the people in the light of changing realities. He emphasized that the Commission took the conscious decision to embark on the tour in order to aggregate and map up the views of Nigerians by interacting with them at different levels and evolve a new, fair, just, and equitable revenue sharing formula. You're still listening to the news from around the world on T Solid Radio. Still to come is the foreign and sport news. Do remember to download our app T Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T Solid Radio TV. Moving on to the foreign scene, China passed a sweeping privacy law aimed at preventing businesses from collecting sensitive personal data today, as the country faces an uptick in internet scams and Beijing targets tech giants hovering up personal data. Under the new rules passed by China's top legislative body, state and private entities handling personal information will be required to reduce data collection and update user content. However, the Chinese state security apparatus will maintain access to swift of personal data. Beijing has long been accused of harnessing big tech to accelerate repression in the northwestern Xinjiang province and elsewhere. The new rules are also expected to further rattle China's tech sector, with companies like ride-hailing giant Didi and gaming behemoth Tencent in regulators crossing in recent months over misuse of personal data. The law, which comes into effect on November 1, also stipulates that the personal data of Chinese nationals cannot be transferred to countries with lower standards of data security than China, rules which may present problems for foreign businesses. Officials today reported that a terrorist attack following fighting in a remote area of Burkina Faso near the border with Mali has left over 120 people dead. According to a government statement issued on Thursday night, 65 civilians and 58 jihadis are known to have been killed in the attack, which took place near the town of Abinda in the north of the country. Fierce-gun battles between members of a terrorist militia and the army led to a bloodbath that the country's police said on Facebook on Thursday that they had routed some 400 jihadis. In addition, security forces said the Gov recovered large quantities of weapons and ammunition from the scene. According to the United Nations, more than 1.2 million people have been internally displaced, fleeing violence at the hands of Islamist military groups. The Philippines reported today its highest daily number of coronavirus infection as authorities eased a lockdown in the capital to allow more businesses to operate and reduce the financial pain of poor families. More than 13 million people in the national capital region went into lockdown on August 6th as the hyper-contagious Delta variant helped drive a resurgence in infection that has strained hospitals. A COVID-19 task force agreed Thursday to allow more businesses to open their doors from Saturday, but the stay-at-home order for non-essential workers would remain in place and restaurants dining banned. The decision to ease restrictions came as the number of new infections hit a record 17,231 on Friday, pushing the country's caseload to more than 1.8 million since the start of the pandemic. Health officials fearing the Delta strain could tear through the country like it has in neighboring nations have been ramping up vaccination to try to head off the spread of the virus. Official data show hospitals in the capital are under growing pressure with 74% of intensive care beds and 70% of ward beds allocated for COVID-19 cases occupied. And the Ugandan government said today that it had ordered more than 50 non-governmental organizations to suspend operations, a major escalation of its effort to tighten control over civil society. The 54 groups affected include the country's most prominent rights organization, Chapter 4, as well as charities, religious, environmental, and electoral democracy groups. The National Bureau for NGOs, part of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, said in a statement that the shutdown was authored with immediate effect. It said the groups had failed to comply with legislation covering their activities, including operating with expired permits, not filing accounts, or not registering with the authorities. And on the world of sport, Rafael Nadal will miss the United States Open after the Spaniard ended his 2021 season because of a foot injury. The injury caused the 20-time Grand Slam winner to miss the Cincinnati Masters and Canadian Open last week. Defending champion Dominic Thiem and five-time winner Roger Federer have also pulled out of this year's United States Open. The four-time United States Open champion did not compete at Wimbledon of the Olympic Games in order to rest following the clay court season. He sustained the injury at the French Open in June when he failed to defend his title for the first time since 2016 in defeat by Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals. Meanwhile, the United States Opens begin on Monday, 30th August. However, 2020 champion Thiem will be absent because of a wrist injury, and Federer has also ended the season as he prepares to have a further knee surgery. Finally, club captain Karim Benzema has signed a one-year contract extension with Real Madrid, keeping him at Bernabeu until 2023, and the deal will take the striker into his 14th year with the Spanish club. Benzema, aged 33, arrived at the Bernabeu in 2009 and scored 281 goals in his 12-year spell, including more than 20 goals in each of the past three La Liga seasons. He has started the current campaign in fine form, scoring twice in Real opening day 4-1 victory over Alves last week. His renewal follows that of Belgian goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, who signed a new 5-year contract with the club earlier this week to extend his stay until June 2026. With that, we've come to the end of the news. A recap of the major headline. Buhari reappoints Oloyede as JAMB registrar. And on the foreign scene, China passes tough new online privacy law. Philippines reports record virus infection as lockdown eased. And on the world of sports, Spaniard ends 2021 season because of foot injury. And ensure to go by all precautionary measures to stay safe from COVID 19, as recommended by the World Health Organization and the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Do remember to download our app T-Solid on Play Store or log on to www.tsolid.tv. You can as well follow us on our various social media platforms on our T-Solid Radio TV. The news was compiled and edited by Olorunishola Mary Omolafe. I am Joy Akin Olamiguki. Good afternoon and many thanks for listening.
Shanti, nice to meet you. And if you ask me, I go tell them, say, oh, lady, come on, God, come up with our job, oh, lady. If you ask me, I go tell them, say, oh, lady, for my will be a good journey, oh, lady. Baba, you show me, she be one of me. Baba, you show me. No, if you want to call me, yeah. Look here,